Hello everyone, we are in the second of our series of what happens when the rabbi forgets, Sefira HaOmer. And we presented the question last time, and that is the psak of the Shulchan Aruch saying he has a mitzvah to count, albeit without a bracha. But since he leads the bracha in shul, everyone's going to know that he forgot. Is there any solution for this rabbi? Well, there is a solution, and that is, why doesn't he go to a nice, good Samaritan in the shul and tell him, listen, I forgot to count Sefira HaOmer. Between you and me, I didn't do good this year. But I'm going to ask you a favor. You stand next to me. I'm going to make the bracha on your behalf. You answer Amen to me. And then I could say the bracha because I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it for you. Do we have a precedent of this? Of course we do. The Beit Joseph says, if a person is about to make a bracha on Tkiyat Shofar, even though you already heard Shofar in the morning, for some man that was sick, and he's not Yotze with that Tkiyah at all, like he made the bracha and he left the room, he put cotton in his ears and he doesn't hear the Tkiyah, Lo haite bracha levatala. He does not make a bracha levatala very simply because he's not making it on his behalf. He's making it on behalf of the guy who needs to make the bracha. An open Rambam. The Rambam says in general that any time that you hear a bracha from beginning to end and you have kavana to latzeit yedei chovat to fulfill your obligation, you have fulfilled it. But if you answer Amen, it's even easier. The Rambam says that if you heard the bracha from beginning to end and you answered Amen, it's like you made the bracha. You don't even need kavana. And from this perspective, if this fine guy is willing to be the good Samaritan, he's going to hear the bracha. It's like he made the bracha. It shouldn't be a problem. The only little problem we have is that end of the Rambam. The blesser has to be obligated in the blessing. If he's not, he cannot make the bracha on your behalf. Is he obligated? On the one hand, the Bahag said he's not. On the other hand, the Rosh, Rav Hai Gaon said he is, and he should have been making a bracha anyway. The fact that we don't make a bracha is sort of a middle position, but the Shulchan Aruch does paskin, he should continue to count, which means he seems to be obligated in that mitzvah. Based on this, the Pri Chodesh Rav Cheskiyah di Salawa, who lived from 1656 to 1696, comes along and says, I got an idea for this fine shliach tzibur, be it the rabbi, sheyichaven lo tzid chaviro, v'shiyaneh charav amei, ונמצא בנייתו אמן שאין חברו מוציאו, לא הוא מוציא את עצמו. ועניית אמן חשיבה כמוציא ברכה מפיו דמי. וברכת המברך לא הווה לבטלה, כיוון דאיכא אחר שיוצא מברכתו. Very simply, get a good Samaritan, tell him, stand next to you, you'll make the bracha, he'll answer amen, and therefore nobody's going to have to know that the rabbi forgot Sefira. Well, that seems to be a beautiful, nice position, however, not without machlokes. It is not clear-cut that you can always do that. When the Shulchan Aruch says about Havdalah, regarding the bracha of Borei Minei Besamim, when we smell the fragrance at Havdalah, Misha ino meriach ino mevarech ala besamim, ela im ken itkaven lotzi b'nei beito, o lotzi misha ino yodea. I'm not planning to smell from it, but I'm planning to fulfill the obligation for my wife, for people that can't make the bracha. It's 100% fine. So if that's the case, it should be 100% fine in Sefira HaOmer, as our Shulchan Aruch said regarding Tkiyat Shofar. But Rabbi Akiva Eger doesn't like that. He comes along and says, La'aniyut da'ati, gam im have berkat hamitzvah. Even if you want to say that the bracha on the besamim is not on your enjoyment of the smell, but rather it's part of the mitzvah of Havdalah. And if that's the category of that blessing, then, like many birkot ha-mitzvah, you can have someone else say it on your behalf. Mikol makom, he says, Kivan she'en lo chush hareach, hu patur legamre mi-mitzvah zo, u'mekre yeno mechuyav badavar, she'eno motzi achirim. Says Rabbi Akiva Eger, if you can't smell, you had COVID, you lost your sense of smell, you're not obligated in Borei Minei Besamim anymore at Havdalah. And therefore, you cannot say the bracha on behalf of someone else. Which leads us to our question. When we say continue counting, is that just so you shouldn't forget counting next year? It should be part of your agenda between Pesach and Shavuos? You're actually not obligated in the mitzvah at all. The Bahag is correct. But for whatever reason, we told you to continue counting. Be with the Jewish people. Or perhaps not. You're obligated in the mitzvah. The Bahag is strange, as the Tosfot says. But out of reverence for the Bahag, we're going to say, don't do it with the bracha. If just out of reverence of the Bahag, we skip the bracha, then this guy is obligated. If he's obligated, then it's no different than blowing shofar for someone, even though you were Yotze already. It's no different than the Besamim case, where you're not going to smell, you can still make the bracha. If we say the first point of view, then this guy cannot make a bracha on behalf of his friend. His friend is obligated, the rabbi is no longer obligated. How did the Gdolei HaPoskim deal with this? We'll see next time.